then from the original file, take from the middle to the end, and then put in a temporary file, then close the original file, copy this temporary file as an original file, and things like that. Means something like that, it becomes not that easy. That's why the operations on file are a little bit tricky, but they are most important. We also talked about formatted printing. Anybody looked at formatted printing? Do you guys have any experience with formatted printing? Like, for example, you've seen that, if I want, the prints that we have done was usually a text and then some other variable at the end, right? But what if I want to write things where there are multiple variables in a bigger text and they have to be on a certain length or certain width? Then how do you write it? Or you've seen like tables done and they're all really formatted. How do you do that? It's very important when you're doing some basic programming. You want to show your program to somebody that you want to show, like a teacher or something. Then you want to make it very presentable. And formatted printing makes it very presentable. And then we talked about functions. What is function? One way to break up a large program into manageable pieces is by using functions. So we have a large program, 200 lines, 500 lines. It cannot be one big, this line after this line after this line. It becomes very difficult. So, and then there could be things that are repeated at different lines. So you can take out the repeated code, or you can take out some code and make it a function. And then usually, one of the things that we talked about is that usually we have, means all the programs that we work, like library, we talked about it, libraries are all functions. APIs, we might have heard, are all functions. Most of the programs that we see, like in computers and everywhere, they are just functions after functions. They comprise of all different functions because that's how they divide a bigger program. And we can do a little bit of function kind of work today. That's what I was thinking, because some of you were not able to attend last class. So we are at 9 o'clock. Brother Abdul-Bari? No. We are at 9 o'clock. Do you want to continue, leave?
Have to flat tire.
Oh, okay.
So I should probably go and.
Yeah, exactly. It's a cold day, cold night.
Yeah.
Yes. That's good. Do you want some help?
No.
Are you all right?
I have a compressor. Pump it up.
Oh,
Do you
okay.
have a nail in it?
No, I hit a pothole yesterday morning, and it's been losing air ever since. So
Oh,
I think I bent my leg.
so you would pump the air and then
Try-
go,
Yeah,
and hopefully it will not lose more air.
it will.
But you have a long commute, right?
I do. Yeah. But it got me to work this morning, which was 60 miles. So
Ah,
inshallah.
inshallah. Yeah. Then you should. Yeah. Don't take too much chances. So quickly we went through all of those concepts. One of the things that, because of course we just have maybe maximum, if you stay too much, maybe 1 more hour. We cannot do anything in 1 hour, right? We'll just maybe go through some basic stuff. But even if you go through this lecture, which I'll make available tomorrow, even if you go through this and then practice, practice whatever you could, that would still be something. But these concepts are what I call transferable skills. These are used in every programming languages. These are some very basic concepts, and these are used in any program. Like the whole programming kind of consists of this, over and over, different ways. And of course, once they come together and they become a little bit more complicated, then there are so many other things that come out of it. All the technologies within the programming. For example, you want to connect to a web page and do some stuff directly on it. That's all the same concepts, but done in a lot of different ways, in a ways that you need to know how it is done, what are the different mechanisms in it, so what are some of the flexibilities that you have to put in, and things like that. But this is all done through the same thing: expressions, mathematical or logical, ifs and loops, and reading or writing to files, or doing some kind of stream I/O, which is files also, but it could be internet, or it could be network, or it could be all the network. Network is a stream I/O. Just like you write to a file, you can write to a network. From Java point of view, at some level, it does not care. Behind the scene, it could be file or it could be a network, but from a reader point of view, it is just reading. And it is reading from a file maybe, it is reading from a network maybe, or it's reading from a keyboard maybe, usually not, usually it knows, but I'm just saying that it's all stream I/O. So reading about I/O is kind of very important, and it works everywhere. So these are some of the basic concepts. What I was thinking that, so if you want to leave, then that's fine. And the video, which is that's not too much now, would be available tomorrow, hopefully, or day after. Previous days, yesterday, last class video is also there on the YouTube channel. I'll also send some reading material and stuff. So hopefully, if you guys need something, we can have some virtual class, we can have some physical class on something, but I just don't want to do it on something that we talk about in WhatsApp group first, try to do it in WhatsApp group first, and then maybe come together and discuss more. That I would a little bit prefer more, because that would mean that we all put a lot more effort into it to get it done. وإياكم جزاك الله خير. It is nice, and see you in Juma inshallah. All right, so we just have a few more minutes. What do you guys want to practice? Should we do something with, I didn't put arrays in here, I forgot. Should we do something with array and loop? Yeah, means we can do anything, it's just that, yeah, I know you're saying, it's just that, yeah, I'm not too much prepared today either, so you're right, but we'll try to do something so that we and I'll make some mistakes because I'm not too much prepared, but we'll see. So, Brother Shah Jahan, what is this that I have highlighted? The whole thing.
That's the program, no?
Yeah, but that's not full program. That is a function.
That's the function, yeah.
So we did talk about it last time, right?
That's the library.
Function has what it was called? Modifiers, return value. No, return value. These both are modifiers. Return value, name, parameter, and function body. Function cannot have one. So an if can have only one statement, right? But function cannot have one statement. Function has to be in a function body, which is squiggly brackets. So we will do another function, but after a little while. So what we say is, let's say we have an array. So we make so if I do just this, what it means?
You define an array.
I've defined an array. How big is the array?
Undefined.
Undefined. So how should I make the array?
Let's give it a value.
But that's initialization, right? But for array, there's one more step in between.
So
So
you have to give it a breakpoint. of
no.
the array.
No. So in the normal variable, you define it
Mhm.
and then you initialize it, right? But for array, you have to define it, then you have to create it, and then you initialize it.
Initialize.
So we'll see how to create it. Just a sec. Let me do a cheat sheet and go back and see. Array would be L5, right? Maybe. Logical expression. Arrays. New. So how do we do that? We do a new,
Event.
right? All right. See, my own presentation helps me to go further. That's the whole program. So even now I've been using a programming language, it's called Go. And I'm using it for 3 years. And even before I've been using programming for like whole ages, more than some of your ages maybe. But anyway, for a long, long time. But even now, every day maybe, I'll go and search on Google how this is done, how that is done.
You have to.
Yeah, you have to. And which is so much help because like 10 years ago, or even a little bit more than that, there was no Google. And you have to know all those things. You have to keep books. And then it doesn't look very professional that you're looking through books and saying, oh, but how you do this, right? Or you're getting a lot of syntax errors and you're not very happy in how to solve it in the right way. So there's Google now, and everybody uses it, even very good programmers, and which is not a bad thing. So yeah, even if you guys go and start using Google or something to help you with those kind of stuff, that's fine, right? All right. So what we want to do is first I want to define an integer. Say int count is equal to 9. All right. And then I say int array. All right. And then I say int array is equal to new int count. Is it good enough? Is it good? So what did I do? I said this is just a variable, and then I defined an array, and then I created an array. But when I create an array, I need to have the count. I want to create this array or that array, this big or that big, right? When I'm defining it, it can be open-ended, because I'm just saying, right? But when I'm creating, I need to know the count. But the count is not fixed. It is fixed at the time of the creation, but it is also variable. If I make it 11, next time I run the program, it will create 11 count, 11 length of the variable, right? And then what I want to do is, so this I want you guys to do, but what I want to do is I want to do a for loop. So there are three parts of for loop, right? One is called initialization. So I want to say int I is equal to 0. That is the initialization of a variable. But this is a loop variable. This is not any other variable. It will only be visible in the loop. Int I is equal to 0. Comparison variable or limit variable. Limit part, which is I is less than 9. I don't want to go beyond 9 because my array is only 9. But why 9? Array count is count. So I can say I is less than count. And I say I plus plus. So we did learn when we were doing that a loop would be indefinite if it cannot it does not have the condition to exit or terminate, right? So loops could be definite or indefinite. Sometimes we want indefinite loops, but then still we have to break out from it using a break statement. But sometimes we need definite loops, which means that I have an array in here with the length count, and I want to go over the array, maybe to initialize it, maybe to do something about it, right? So I want a definite array. So how to write a definite array? You write a definite array by having three things. Number one, initialization. Number two, comparison or limit, checking the limit. And number three, increment, going towards the limit. It can be increment like upper limit or decrement like lower limit or something like that, right? So with this for loop is now good. But one of the things that when the for loop runs, what happens? Let me just do it for one thing. What I'll do is I'll do system.out.println, and then I will do the value of I is I. Right? Alright, so I will run it at this time. Just to see that what I does here. I always forget the semicolon. Z, because I deleted the Z, so there is no Z, so I will delete this part only, and I'll say the program ends now. Alright, execute. You see, the value of I is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not 9. And then n. Why not 9? Because it goes from 0. So till 8, it's already 9, right? 0 including, it becomes 9. But let's go again. So we wrote a loop where, just to understand what is the value of I, and then we are seeing that how the program is working. The program came here. It initialized I to 0, right? It checked if I is less than count. Yes, it is less than count. It printed the system out print line and with I is equal to 0. Then it did I plus plus, which is the increment. So this is how for loop works. This part will only work once. This part would always be done just like in while loop. And this part will always be done again, but end of this block. So first it will check this, run this block, then do I plus plus. Just like while loop, but if we do it in 3 parts. Anyways, we don't have much time for today, but we can discuss it more if you want on WhatsApp. So, what we want to do is, let's do it this way. This is an array, right? Int array. Not because the name has an array, but because that's what we have created, right? What I want to do is, I want to fill this array with the variable times the variable I times the variable I. I want to fill this array. How can I fill this array? So array is already declared, right? And even the loop is declared. What I want to do is, let me say I times I, right? So what I want to do is an array, so int array actually has 9 elements, right? Because that's what we have created. That's what arrays are, right? They have so many elements. What I want here is, this is element number what? 0.
Yeah.
So what I want here is 0 times 0. What I want here is 1 times 1. What I want here is 2 times 2. 3 times 3. 4 times 4 till the end. So all you have to do is write one statement. That's it, one line. And it will be done. And that line will come here, right after this or before, that doesn't matter. Within this say here, you just want to write one line because this is already a loop. And this I is sometimes called loop variable. So this variable, every time loop runs, this variable already has a value, either 0 for the first time, 1 for the second time, 2 for the third time, and things, and so on and so forth. And I can say the value of ith index in int array is, and I will write that soon. So anybody who can tell me what it will be?
I times that.
No, but just I times I would not. So, but this is no statement.
It should be on the next line, no?
Doesn't have to be.
Int I time I.
No. So it will be int array
Int array
I
time
is equal to. Int array I is equal to I times I.
Oh.
So what we are doing? We are saying, okay, multiply first time 0, multiply 0 by 0, but save it somewhere, right? Because you're right, it will be I times I, but you have to save it. So when you're doing a programming, you cannot assume something. You have to know exactly what you're doing, what you're saving. Every variable, it cannot just stay in itself, right? So you have to save it. So you do I times I, okay, that's the mathematical expression. But you have to save the result. Where you save the result? In the index, in the same index in the array, which is index I. And then in here, I will say int array I. I know it's a little bit of tricky, but you'll practice it a little bit, and this is very interesting. And then we will see that we have the value of ith index in int array is 0, 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. So multiplication of itself, right? So what we want to do is, all right, so this is fine for the time being. But do you guys get it, or
Can you put the break in?
can I put a break in there?
Yes.
All right, sure. So because I want to do a function. I'm just trying because I'm looking at the clock also, so that I'm doing a little bit faster, and then hopefully it works, so I'll explain it a little bit more. This one, same. That is 5 or 4. Where is 5? Here. Length. Need that length. Let's see how it works. Oh, I don't like it. Okay. All right. So I will send it to. I'll send this program to the WhatsApp group also. Where did it go? You see, it's so down. All right. All right. So we'll try to cover, hopefully, few things, and then whatever time we have left with. All right. So what we did here. You remember this part? What we did? We did a count, we did a loop. Loop start, till count, and then increment, and then we filled int array. Right? So when the program came here, the int array was an array that was filled already. But it did not print. Why it did not print? Because I commented it out. Just so that if you are not too sure, we can say comment out, and we will not see it, right? If I run again, I don't see the comment out, right? Which means that this is not running, right? But we can always say, yeah, this is commented out. Now, what is this? This is a command, right? This is like a statement. But we don't know this statement. But we see the same print error. I highlighted it, and the program JDoodle automatically highlighted this print error also. Same name. I created a function, one more function. So you guys were not here yesterday, last time, but we did talk about functions. And with functions, what you do is you create a small code, like self-contained code. I will not go into the detail. So small self-contained code separately outside of current function, and then you just call it by its name. So what is a function? A function has modifiers. What is this modifier? Public. Public means anybody can use it. Static. Static also somehow means anybody can use it using this object, using this class, but it's very kind of like deep thinking, so don't worry about it. But most important thing about functions, that is in every language, is there are three things. Let's say three things. Name, you call the function by name. The return value, when you call the function, it returns some value. And even before, you call the functions with some parameters. That's called input parameters for the function. Which means that function, you can take it as black box. In a way, I mean, of course, you write it, so it can be black box sometimes, but sometimes if you don't see it, but you still call it, then it's a black box, which means you know to put something in it, and then you get something out of it. How it does it, it's up to a function, right? What you put in it, what you put